Hey everyone, welcome into the Arena, a multi-platform gaming news podcast. This is episode 180. I'm your host, Expat, along with my co-host, Burley of Burlerman Gaming, and Leah the Hatless, turn-based Carl. He had to go to a wedding this week. He should be back with us next week. And Fubu87, he'll show up when he shows up. So, he'll be here soon, hopefully. So anyway, welcome on in, and thanks for watching wherever you are in the world. So Burley and Leah, we were talking just before we started about Deadpool and Wolverine. And of course, we're here on the Arena Productions. We'll be doing a roundtable discussion, a spoiler roundtable discussion at some point here in the near future. But we were talking about our theater experiences. And Burley, you want to elaborate a little bit on your experience? Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So I did a tweet about this earlier.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, I know I'm going to come off as a cranky old man with this, but you're paying because $17 to go see a movie. You should be able to see it and not have people talk and and yell throughout the movie. Like, because every time there's a lot of cameos in Deadpool 3.
Yeah.
And one guy's like, yeah, that's from the like every time. So it's like, oh my God.
Right.
And then I had someone in front of me that she would not stop talking the whole movie. And like, it's like, I'm like, I want to kick the seat, but I also don't want to go to jail.
Right.
So it's like,
now, don't they have like, like messages before the movie starts, like please don't talk during the film and stuff like that? Because they do that here in Japan. They have all of that.
Oh, they have that in the, well, they don't have that please be quiet quickly. One message is mostly about turn your phone off, put your phone on silent, and stuff like that. But it's like most of the people that talk here in Canada, in my experience at movie theaters, are young teenagers that have no respect because, no offense, they're the ones not paying for this. They're having someone else pay for it. The people that are paying for it usually understand and are quiet, but there are the outliers.
Yeah. Leah, how about over there in Madeira? Are the teenagers a little quieter when it comes to the movie theaters, or is it the same?
No, they're teenagers. They're gonna be loud. Same thing with children. Like, I went to watch Inside Out 2 last week, and I enjoyed the movie. But of course, they're kids and they're walking around and they're making noise, and like, it's part of the experience as well. I can't be like, I just sit quietly throughout the entire movie because if there's a cameo, like I'm like, oh my God, is it? But I try not to be too loud. Oh, hi, Fubu.
Speaking of people that are loud in movie theaters, I've heard some rumors, Fubu, about some particular get pretty noisy in movie theaters.
You know that episode of Seinfeld where he likes to go to the movies and like do comments about the movie. I'm Seinfeld. I like to comment. I like to do some jokes. So sometimes I'm lucky, sometimes I'm not. That's why Leah doesn't hang with me at the movies.
No, I don't hang with you because you want to go on days I can't go. I told you I could only go Saturdays. So, but like, unlike Fubu, I actually go to the gym, so I can't just skip the gym.
Okay. Well, this is
someone said he was going, and then he bailed. So
look,
just putting it out there.
I'm saying this now, and I'm saying this for the whole internet. Okay, I am in shape. Round is a shape. I don't need the gym.
Okay.
Sure.
All right.
Sure you don't.
Well, with that, it's time to get into the gaming news. So, of course, we got a great show for you. We're going to be talking about HELLDIVERS 2. So, HELLDIVERS 2 had a big content update. We're going to talk about that. World of Warcraft's developers, Blizzard. We're going to be talking about that. We're going to be talking about unionization in this episode. And then, of course, also the strike that's now proceeding. We're going to be talking about that. Our topic of the show, historical fiction in games. So we're going to be talking about that a lot. I have a lot to say about Assassin's Creed Shadows and get into that topic. That's going to be a hot discussion. We're going to talk about that. And of course, our picks of the week later on in the show. But first, let's go ahead and jump into the weekly news beat. So here on the Arena Gaming News Podcast, each and every week, we look at some of the biggest news in the world of video games and game development. And in our first story, we're going to talk about Helldivers 2. So yeah, some big stuff going on with Helldivers. So let's go ahead and check out the clip here. I'm going to go ahead and get this started. So we'll take a look at that. And then I'm going to read a little bit from Game Informer. So Helldivers 2 has been one of 2024's biggest successes, and developer Arrowhead Games is prepping to launch its most substantial update yet. So arriving on August 6th, Escalation of Freedom challenges players with a new level 10 difficulty and introduces new mission objectives, such as locating and extracting a crying larva that attracts terminids. The game also receives new, larger fortress-like outposts for players to capture. The swamp biome gets a spookier facelift, and acid storms can now reduce the armor for players and enemies, so both sides can take greater damage. New terminids and automatons will clash with players, and Arrowhead Games teases that Escalation of Freedom features more surprises players will have to discover on their own. So my question to you all is this going to boost player numbers now? What do you think, Burley? I'll give this one to you first.
Oh yeah, this is going to boost player numbers. This is going to be people like me. I haven't played the game in a little while. I have loved what I've played of Helldivers 2. It's a lot of fun. So it is getting me to want to go, hey, come past August 6th. Let's load up Helldivers, see this content. They're dropping more content. Why not?
Yeah. Leah, what do you think? Is it going to boost player numbers?
I think so, because you have a variety of different things in the updates, different types of enemies and strategies. So if the game was already so hyped up, it was a really popular game, like it was one of the surprises of this year. Yeah, I think it will. Like, I was really interested in that swamp level. It seemed really cool. It almost looked like Resident Evil 7 because it was like dark and moody. So sounds fun. Really cool that they did such a substantial update to the game. Pretty cool.
Fubu, your thoughts?
Yeah, I think this is actually good because this is not my type of game, as you know. But I did try this game. I did like it, but I got bored very quick. But I found that the missions were very repetitive. It didn't change that much. So the fact that they're doing an update where they're putting different types of missions, objectives, new worlds. The swamp one was really good. I also liked the swamp one. I think it's going to be very positive for the game. And just like Burley, I'm at least going back just to see how the game will be, so I can test it out, and maybe this time it can hook me up. But it is a shame that because of the debacle, this could be something even bigger for the community if we hadn't had the problems before. Because I feel like they lost a lot of people when they had the ID thing with the PlayStation on Steam. I think they lost a lot of people, and this could be something much bigger in the community if we had more people. I think they're doing this more in desperation to get people back than to improve the game itself.
My question, though, is, when it comes to will this, boost player numbers, and we're going to talk about this later in the show in the Game Pass segment, but you've got Call of Duty now on Game Pass. And so you're going to have a lot of people playing that, I think. So, obviously Helldivers is not on Xbox yet, but I don't know if this is going to boost numbers significantly. Probably on the PlayStation side, yes. But we shall see. I don't know.
I think it'll bring people back on Steam, because remember, they did walk back their stuff. Yeah. And you know what? This extra content you give it, and people with Steam are wanting. There are people that I know that have the game that do want to go back. So you'll get the people that'll go back and say, okay, you know what? I'm going to play for an hour, see this new content, see some of the new content, see if it's for me. And if it's good quality content, like I believe it will be because the whole game has been really good content. It's like, Greg, I got to tell people, I got to play with friends, and yeah, playing this game by yourself, it's fine, but this is a game you need your friends to play with, and so if you can get a few of those people that have a good experience with this, it will spread, and people will remember. People are forgetting. Remember, people are all on this of no microtransactions, no microtransactions. So many of these games that have the microtransactions are still selling and still pumping money. Look at GTA 5, for example. That thing is still pulling money with those shark card casinos. Like Rockstar literally doesn't have to ever make another game at this point.
Right.
They could just keep throwing stuff into GTA Online.
I think GTA 6 Burley will probably be the last GTA. I mean, because it's like they won't have to make another one after that. I mean,
exactly.
We'll see, but yeah, that's a different beast altogether, though. But yeah. All right, let's go ahead and move on to the next story, guys. So unionization. So this is really cool, really interesting here. So World of Warcraft developers form Blizzard's largest and most inclusive union. So this is from over at The Verge. So more than 500 developers at Blizzard Entertainment who worked on World of Warcraft have voted to form a union. The World of Warcraft Game Makers Guild, formed with the assistance of the Communication Workers of America, the CWA, is composed of employees across every department, including designers, engineers, artists, producers, and more. Together, they have formed the largest wall-to-wall union, or a union inclusive of multiple departments and disciplines at Microsoft. The news comes less than a week after the formation of the Bethesda Game Studios Union, which at the time of the announcement was itself the largest wall-to-wall Microsoft union. So in a statement emailed to The Verge, Microsoft spokesperson Delaney Simmons wrote, quote, "We continue to support our employees' rights to choose how they are represented in the workplace, and we will engage in good faith negotiations with the CWA as we work towards a collective bargaining agreement," end quote. So great news for the industry, guys. This unionization here. My question to you all is, will this spawn the rest of the industry to start forming unionization for other development studios? Fubu, take it away. What do you think, man?
Yeah, it's I didn't want to get political, but I'm going to get political in here. No, I'm joking. It's I like to talk about these things, and it goes to a very serious tone sometimes. I think, unionization is something important. People need to be protected because sometimes bosses, they get too cocky and they try and start abusing their employees and become abusive. Psychologically abusive, saying that you won't get it, not a job in the industry, and whatever. There's so many stories about that. Right. And I'm hoping that they provide a very good example. I hope they help these developers. I hope it shows that it won't affect the gaming industry, because I'm pretty sure one of these weeks there's going to be a story of a game that got delayed because of unionization, something like that. What they do is the employee tries to makes the union look something good, and the employer makes the union look like something bad. So I'm hoping that this is the start of something really, really good, because people deserve their rest, because the crunch time that they used to do, for example, Blizzard, Naughty Dog, that is not healthy. It puts in case the mental physical health of the person that works. His personal life is at risk, because I'm pretty sure there's a lot of people that probably got a divorce because they're always stuck at work. They don't have time for their families. Their kids, they don't see their kids growing up because they're working all the time. I'm hoping that the union will improve in all of these things without affecting the video game development, so that more companies see that it's something positive, that their staff is happier and they're producing better, and it affects everyone, and it's a positive thing in the industry. So more people enjoy it.
Yeah, I think it could be a regional issue. I mean, like here in Japan, you don't see that type of unionization. So I think it's more, Western based when it comes to this type of unionization that's going to be going on. I think it'll be a very, very slow process out here in Japan because, it's like there are unions, but you don't hear about them practically ever. So, Leah, your thoughts on the Blizzard group here?
I mean, it was inevitable because after 2023 and 2024, there's just been this constant thing of getting rid of the employees for whatever reason, and it's not profitable enough, the game is over. And this is kind of a tradition that goes in the video game industry. They hire for the game, then they get sacked. And I think it just got to a point where it was too much. Like every month we had some news of a studio laying off people, projects getting canceled without notice. So yeah, I think it makes sense. It's good for them to come together in a union, and I expect that if the employees and developers are smart, they will join different types of unions, and they'll form a sort of like SAG for the video game industry, because while it's good to have these localized unions per company, they will have more power if they're all under one umbrella that can speak for everyone. So I think this probably will just be the beginning.
Yeah, let's hope so. But I mean, Burley of Burleman Gaming, I think, Microsoft seems to be more open to letting these developers and development studios unionize. But what about PlayStation studios in the West and Nintendo studios, especially, like I said, in Japan, it's like unionization. It exists, but you hardly ever hear about it at all, and not many companies are unionized. So, what do you think about like the PlayStation side, especially? For their Western development studios to do something like this? Would Sony be as open on the Western end, like Microsoft is doing with Blizzard here, to be more open to letting development studios unionize?
They'd be open. I don't think they would be as open as Microsoft, to be just straight out blunt. Same with the Nintendo for that. But we know the one. I'm just going to throw it out here right now. This may happen for Blizzard. It'd be a cold day in hell with EA. They would probably shut down studio. You're gonna threaten to unionize? Yeah, you guys are done. We'll just pick up someone else and get them to work on our Madden and all that.
That's why it's important. It's important for them to all unite. That's why it's called a union. Like in this type of fight, and trust me, I know this type of fight, just in a different industry. If you don't team up, someone's gonna be a martyr. Someone needs to be a martyr, because then people will unite around those. Let's say that Ubisoft closes one studio and the others unite. They're not going to close all their studios, because they're like, okay, if we close everything, we're going to lose money. They'd rather sell everything and be like, oh, that's not our problem anymore. There needs to be martyrs. It's sad to say this, but there needs to be a martyr for the others to unite.
Yeah, Burley, but sorry.
Sorry, I'll let you go, Leah. I'll let you say.
Okay, it's just I was gonna add, but one thing is not very specialized industry, like no, not to throw shade at chefs or anything, but like in a restaurant, like serving at a restaurant, you can start with zero skill and it's very easy to replace people. Not saying it's not an important job. I mean, video game coding, developing, artwork, those are specialized skills. It's not like anyone can just come in and do it. So, like, if everyone is unionized, like, what are they gonna do? Are they gonna make machines? It's AI gonna.
And I was just, you were reading my mind. I was just about to say that. Yeah, AI. Yeah. They just come right in and boom.
Well, you know, these companies have all said that they're all interested in AI, and they all have looked into stuff. You don't think EA would use AI to get art assets, do dialogue, and all that? EA will do what they will do. If they could use AI and cut 500 jobs and, save them, I don't know, $1 million on salaries.
Yeah.
You know Burley. What EA's going to do.
Perfect transition,
Everyone
Burley.
will do that.
Perfect transition, Burley and Leah. So
take it away.
Let's talk about it. So the SAG-AFTRA strike. So AI protections for members. So this is from over at the Hollywood Reporter, or actually from NPR. It says the use of AI in video game development has become a central issue in negotiations when it comes to negotiations. But of course, they've now declared a strike. So they say, quote, "We're not going to consent to a contract that allows companies to abuse AI to the detriment of our members. Enough is enough," end quote. SAG-AFTRA president Fran Drescher wrote in a statement. SAG-AFTRA National Executive Director Duncan Crabtree Ireland wrote that video game performers deserve, quote, "fair compensation and the right of informed consent for the AI use of their faces, voices, and bodies. But the video game producers, though, see their offer as strong. Quote, "We have already found common ground on 24 out of 25 proposals, including historic wage increases and additional safety provisions," end quote. Audrey Cooling, a spokesperson for video game companies involved in the negotiations, wrote today, quote, "Our offer is directly responsive to SAG-AFTRA's concerns and extends meaningful AI protections that include requiring consent and fair compensation to all performers working under the interactive media agreement." So my question to you guys is, when it comes to this, can video game companies ensure informed consent for AI use in games to settle this complaint? So Burley, you segued us into this, so I'll start with you. What do you think?
Yeah. The thing is with this one, with video game companies, they're all wanting, like a lot of these major companies are all wanting to try this, but no one wants to be the first one, because you say, hey, we were the first one to do this. Everyone's the outlash and backlash is going to come to you. But you want to see if someone else can do it. If they don't say it and it comes out well, companies are going to start using it behind the scenes and then just say, what? If they get caught, what? We just didn't do it. Bethesda's done it. BioWare's done it. EA, like all these other companies.
This is something that thank God the European Union is sometimes a pain in the ass, because this would be unthinkable in here. Like, you cannot use people's appearance and voice, identity, whatever you want to call it, without their consent, without limitations. It's part of data protection. And I think so, because who knows what they're going to do with that? What if they put your face in this really weird thing? Like, you have your face and your demeanor like portrayed into a way you don't agree, or just as a reusable thing. Like,
we could fake my face and pretend I went to the gym, so you wouldn't be mad at me.
Yeah, I don't think so. That's gonna work for like.
Okay.
We still don't live in hologram land.
I don't believe it.
So yeah, I mean, the actors are correct in trying to protect, because it's their livelihood. It's not like their job doesn't depend on their face, and the studios could just recycle without paying them fairly. So yeah, it's a breaking point. We'll see how it goes, I guess.
Yep. Fubu, your thoughts? Yeah.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was saying before, because the industry is going to vilify the unions that things just don't progress because of the unions, and this is one of those cases. The SAG-AFTRA, they're doing their job, they're protecting their members of their union, and now I'm pretty sure that a bunch of games are going to stop, and some developer can be Ubisoft, Blizzard, whoever is going to be like, well, we have everything prepared, but because the union put them on strike, things don't go forward. So they're vilified. But I think it's really important because everyone, like Lee was saying, we have laws here in Portugal, for example. I could walk outside. I could do this podcast like in front of cameras at my job, and no one could say anything about it, like publicly. Like in private, they could say, "Oh, look, we saw you with your laptop there." And like, yeah, sure, yeah, but they can't fire me because of that. Because the only way they can use the cameras, the medium, the image medium, the video medium, is only if something happened. If I got hurt, let's say I'm with the laptop in front of the camera and someone steals the laptop from me at work, then they can use that because I got hurt and pressed it, but that would be in problem as well. So I wouldn't complain. But there's rules for that, and using the images. Let's say one of us gives a face for one game and then 10 years later it shows up, the face shows up in another place because of AI, and you're saying lines that you never said. You can use that. Like the deepfake thing, I said it as a joke, but they could deepfake people's faces somewhere else. There's so many dangers that you can do with AI, and I think it's something really important that people that do their livelihoods by providing voices, faces, motion caption, all of that, they need to be extra protected, because in 10 years they can put their face in a criminal and they're a criminal and whatever. I've seen too many movies about that, so I know the dangers. I understand.
As a wise man once said, I want AI to do my dishes, take care of my clothes, leave creativity for me. Where's the AI for that? And I agree. That's the task that we need, like the routine tasks, like having to send like a promotional email to 1,000 emails is a pain in the ass. Where's the AI for that? That's a task that AI would help a lot.
Yeah. I think that when it comes to all of this, I think the actors are going to win out. I mean, there's got to be the protections and all, and but there are still dangers. I mean, there's you got the trolls and you got all those people out there that can hack in and probably do some kind of deep fakes and stuff like that. And it's they're trying to protect the actors and all, but something could happen. So the data security and everything else, that's going to have to be ramped up even more in the future, I think, when it comes to entertainment and stuff. Wasn't it Scarlett Johansson that I think brought a lawsuit because of the AI and like having her having her face used.
So.
It's
and a few other actors.
No, but I know that Scarlett Johansson, it's something to do with the ChatGPT, because the guy that's behind that, he likes that movie. I don't know the name of the movie now, but she plays the voice
Ghost
of an
in
AI.
the Shell?
No, not Ghost in the Shell. It's with Joaquin Phoenix, and the guy falls in love with the voice from her. Yeah, that's her. That's it. Her. And they contacted her because Scarlett, in this case, because they wanted to have her voice. So it's similar to the movie. And she said no, she didn't feel comfortable because for all the reasons that we've already mentioned. So what the guy did was found someone with a very, very similar voice to her, and then they did some tweaking to sound even more like her. Right. And it's a shit show. Basically, that's a shit show.
Yeah. All right. Well, speaking of shit shows.
What the segue is going on this episode?
We're now going to get into the topic of the show, guys. So let's jump into it. And I have a lot to say about this, and I hate to do this, but I'm going to have to do this. I'm going to give a little history lesson in this episode. But I will do that in a couple of minutes. But anyway, should games that focus on historical fiction cause concern? So, I mean, obviously, the Assassin's Creed Shadows, issue is looming large over the industry, especially with what's gone on. I'll throw a couple of things out there. There was, of course, Ubisoft that came out with a statement in Japanese and in English, that was trying to apologize for certain things that happened, and not so much about in this apology about Yasuke. And I'm going to get into Yasuke. That's going to be my history lesson for all of you. But basically, it concerned. It was a flag. It was a part of this concept art that was featured a flag from a Japanese historical reenactment group, but they didn't have permission from the Sekigahara Teppotai, which is the group, and so Ubisoft has said that this art will still be printed in the physical art book, but it's not historical. And so that's what pissed off this group, and it being used. But when it comes to Yasuke, so let me go ahead and get to this here. So and then we'll get into the discussion about historic games with historical fiction and all. And I just want to say before I get into the history lesson here, I love games of historical fiction. I love Assassin's Creed. I love those games, and I think that this has been blown way out of proportion. I think that as a historian myself, I feel that as a gamer as well, I feel that we should take this and when we play these games, we shouldn't take everything in a literal sense. When we play these games, we should play them and then make it more of enthusiasm for wanting to actually learn more about history. So take this as like an example of, wow, this is something I should really learn about and actually study the history. Because these games, it's historical fiction, and when it comes to the Assassin's Creed series, the settings and everything are so beautiful. And what Ubisoft does a lot and takes a lot of effort in doing is actually talking to historians and learning about the landscapes that they're using in their games and all. And that's the beautiful thing of it all. So I think that people, when they play these games, it's like, the Yasuke, he's being depicted this way or whatever, or different characters in the game, and then they think that that's the actual history, when it's really not. I mean, you should look at it as a piece to be like the framework of going off into studying history. So bear with me. I'm gonna throw some historical lessons at you, because I do have a degree in Japanese history, and there has been a lot of controversy surrounding Yasuke and about whether or not he was a samurai. And I was on another shout out to the Iron Lords podcast. I was on their episode a couple of weeks ago, and I did mention, and I want to apologize for something here. I did mention in that episode that Yasuke was not a samurai, but I said that because in history, when it came to the particular incident that left Yasuke in a particular predicament after the Honnoji incident. The Honnoji incident was where Oda Nobunaga perished. Those that took him into custody, Akechi Mitsuhide, basically said that he was not a samurai because of in a discriminatory tone. And so to most of the daimyo of that time, he would not have been considered a samurai. So, but Oda Nobunaga, he did give him a stipend, and he was given gifts from his nephew as well. And he was given a sword, and he was given a stipend. And in that case, he would have been considered a samurai. And so let me just show you a couple of images here. Oda Nobunaga, I mean, if Oda Nobunaga did not die in the Honnoji incident, Japan would have been a completely different country, I think. Because Oda Nobunaga, even though he was a wanton killer, he was so open to foreign influences. Not only for when it came to gaining weapons for his advantage in war, but he was open to the Jesuits coming in and other foreigners coming into the country. Whereas that completely closed off about 20 years later when the Tokugawa took over. So, I mean, the third shogun, Tokugawa Iemitsu, basically shut down the entire country. And so for another 200 years, Japanese people, most of them never saw a foreigner. So, I mean, Nobunaga's influence was huge. And, of course, Yasuke, he came in, of course, Fubu, we talked about this, most likely from Mozambique. And through, of course, the Portuguese slave traders, but he was sold off to an Italian Jesuit. And that's how he was able to get into Japan. So the missionary's name was Alessandro Villanano, so an Italian. So he was the chief inspector of the Jesuit missions throughout the East, East Africa, the Southeast, East Asia. And so in 1579, he arrived in Japan, and Yasuke was basically, one of his servants. But Yasuke, obviously, his build, he was like about 6 feet tall. And in 16th century Japan, I mean, he was basically a foot taller than most of the average Japanese people, right? And so from the works of Luis Frios, who's another Jesuit, he came to court with Villanano and had a meeting with Oda Nobunaga, and Oda Nobunaga basically was enamored by Yasuke. And he thought that he had ink completely covering his body. So Yasuke was ordered to take off his clothing and to scrub his body down, because Nobunaga thought that could not be his natural skin color. But he, like I said, he was enamored with Yasuke. He spoke with him frequently. They dined together, which, even to some of the major daimyo, that was, very rare to do with Oda Nobunaga, right? And let me show you an image here. Let me go ahead and get that up. So this is from 1605. And this is a print depicting most likely Yasuke doing sumo with sumo wrestlers and Oda Nobunaga as the referee. So this is pretty cool. Nobunaga basically, made him a retainer. And at the Honnoji incident, which Akechi Mitsuhide, of course, burned down the temple, and of course, Nobunaga supposedly took his life, most likely did, of course, because they've never found his body. But Yasuke, after that, went and rushed to tell his son, and that his son was attacked, and Yasuke protected Oda Nobunaga's son. And that's when Akechi Mitsuhide apprehended him and, basically said, get him out of the country or whatever, send him back to India or wherever, and we don't know anything else about Yasuke after that. So he basically falls out of the history records. But yeah, I mean, so was he a samurai? Technically, yes. But to the major daimyo throughout Japan, in their discriminatory tone, he would not have been considered a samurai. But yes, due to the fact that he was paid, he was given a sword. He should be seen as probably the first foreigner to ever have the rank of a samurai, whether it was low ranking or not. But so that's my history lesson. And of course, in in Japan, there was a petition here on June 19th. So, the game maker Ubisoft, they unveiled the trailer, obviously, of Yasuke being in the game, and the petition's author accused Ubisoft of having made factual errors and a serious insult to Japanese culture and history that can be understood as racism against Asians for including a black character in their game. Well, that's not going to go anywhere. So
I think to start the discussion, I'm going to add, since we are in the historical debate, which is history is what is left on record. It's
That's
not
right.
the truth. I will speak also here in Madeira Island because I have been investigating for work purposes, and the city of Funchal was attacked by pirates. And after that, they built fortresses and walls. And that's the records that we have. Were these walls effective? Were there more pirate attacks? We don't know. We think so because they're there and there's no record of being more attacks. But we don't know. It's just speculation. So history on its own, it's already a very complex topic to start with. But I think as well, like, this is historical fiction, right?
Yes.
Fiction is an important element on these things. And for example, I would throw a game that has nothing to do with Assassin's Creed, but Civilization. Civilization is a great game of strategy, but it's also a great game to learn about history. And no one here is complaining that Gandhi is incredibly for a horrible villain to the people in India. When you play him as a leader, he's a nightmare. Those people are always in peril. But that doesn't mean that Gandhi was like that, but he's just the chosen leader for that specific area. But through that, you can learn more. Same thing with Uncharted. The whole story of the Rex and the pirates and the whole story revolving that.
Yeah.
It's there and it's a fun element for people to explore and learn. But of course, like, Nathan Drake is not a real character, and that's where the historical element comes from. Like, you're putting things of reality in a video game, which is a fun way to learn about these things. So I don't really understand this whole setup of like disrespect when, Japan on its own takes a lot of liberties when it comes to fiction, right? In anime, they take historical elements and they put dragons and magic and so much. So why is this so offensive, It confuses me a bit.
Yeah, well, and especially because the other main protagonist is Japanese. The shinobi, Naoe. Yeah, so yeah.
But it's a woman. They want a white man. That's what people want. I'm joking, obviously.
Yeah. But I mean, yeah. So I mean, I just want to throw one other thing out here. So yeah, I mean, Nobunaga was so impressed with Yasuke from the records that we do have, which are very few. But yeah, that he gave him the stipend, he gave him the sword, and he gave. So I mean, yeah, I mean, he should be considered to have been a samurai. Yes, but to like I said, but to the main daimyo and the lords, he would not have been considered a samurai. Go ahead.
Yeah, that kind of reminds me. Isn't that also the story of Shogun, the show that is made by America about Japan, this foreigner that comes and the emperor to be gives them a lot of privileges and he becomes a samurai.
Yeah,
and that's
William
kind
Adams.
of why
but he was a historical figure. Yes. So,
but it's kind of the same thing. It's still fiction. A lot of it is just it's based on the novel by James Clavell, which is it's not historically accurate. It's a representation of what could have happened.
Yeah, it was dramatized. It's
it was dramatized
historical drama, basically dramatized. Yeah. So, but yeah.
As something we touched upon a few weeks ago, if you're looking at Assassin's Creed to be historically accurate, read a fucking book. Like,
I love the fucking book. That's good.
Sorry, like, whenever, because I love this series too, but like when you played stuff with the games with Altair or Ezio,
right?
You know what? There's some historical facts that you can get from there. And then if I really was interested, I would go look up the information, do research.
Right.
If you're expecting this game to give you historically accurate 100%, you got another thing coming. Like, people that are getting outraged on this, get a life. You need something to do. Like, seriously, there are things in the world to be outraged with. A video game doing this is not something to do. Is not something to get outraged. There's historical information that's true here, stuff they've dramatized and changed around to fit the narrative of the game they're going to do, and that's fine. And they have never said, it's not like you pull an Assassin's Creed box and it says 100% historically accurate.
Yeah.
No, we all knew. Yes, Leonardo da Vinci helped a family get revenge and created all these contraptions for assassins and all this and that. Like,
yeah, and Ubisoft they put a message when you load up the loading screen at the beginning, about the historical aspects and the characters that are in these games. So
exactly, but like, just people, if this is the biggest problem in your life. Consider yourself lucky.
Yeah,
you don't have a problem. Like, if this is the only problem I had in my life, I'd be freaking singing, dancing around all day.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Yeah, but I mean, it's like Rise of the Ronin, for example. I mean, and Ghost of Tsushima. I mean, there are aspects of the games that are historical, but it's historical fiction. Yes, in Rise of the Ronin, of course, the Shinsengumi, they're depicted in the game. In Ghost of Tsushima, of course, the Mongol invasions are depicted. But I mean, Jin Sakai, of course, is not a historical figure, just a made-up character. So I mean,
he isn't, but the ghost is.
Yeah. But I mean, there are historical aspects of the game that are true. Yes, the Mongols did invade Japan. So you go and you read a history book and you learn more about it. You learn more about the facts. That's the main thing. So, yeah.
Fubu, do you want to add anything?
I got a lot of things to say.
Go for it.
First of all, Island of Madeira. Historically, it was discovered by the Portuguese, right? That's it. But I think it was about a few years ago, they discovered in Canicel, which is one of the places where they filmed The Acolyte, they discovered the skeleton, the fossil of a rat. And that type of rat only exists in Northern Europe. Who comes from Northern Europe? Vikings. Where did Vikings go? America. There's records of all of that. So Vikings probably discovered Madeira first, not the Portuguese, but it's not written in history.
Oh.
So
there you go. Hang on, Merlin. Yeah.
Okay, so there's that aspect. I think I also agree with Burley when he says that people are taking this too fucking serious, because it is a video game. This is not the Cleopatra debacle from Netflix where they say it's accurate and Cleopatra was black. No, Cleopatra was a Greek woman, and back then there wasn't this type of mix of colors. So Cleopatra was probably really tanned because
she was of the Ptolemies. Yeah. So,
yeah, so she wasn't. She probably was tan because, well, Greece has a lot of good beaches back then, so maybe she enjoyed some beaches. I don't know. That's why they thought she was darker. I don't know.
And hung out with Cassandra. Yeah.
Yeah, hung out with Cassandra. Exactly. Imagine if they made Cassandra black on that Assassin's Creed. People will go crazy. But yeah, and then when it comes to games, I don't like to say this, but I wasn't a smart child. I don't know. Something happened on my teens and I got smart. But when I was a kid, I wasn't smart. And I used to love to play Red Alert. You know, the RTS game I would love.
Yeah.
And for a few years, I did thought that Einstein invented time travel because there was a time travel something. I was like, oh, he invented time travel. And then when I started growing up, I started to study a little bit more. I got more interested in knowing who Einstein was. Oh, no, he has a theory for time travel. He didn't invent time travel. But Red Alert, there's a special attack or a building that it's a chrono something where you travel from one place. You travel in time, basically. And it was Einstein that invented that, you know? So for many years on my early teens, I thought that time travel was invented by Einstein. But no, he didn't do that. So it is really important to, like, when you're going to have something that is not historically accurate, you should tell it's not according, this is a work of fiction, whatever. So you can do whatever you want. So Einstein invented time travel and a weather machine. So he did all of that. When it's something that you're going to respect history, you have to say these events are real, based in real characters. And this is the part that gets a bit tricky because sometimes history doesn't please to anyone, and the Rise of the Ronin, that's one of the situations. It pleases one part, it pleases another part. That's why there was a lot of controversy. But when a game like Assassin's Creed says that, when it says it is a work of fiction, we have to respect it and not get mad at that.
Yeah.
I will add, the game looks pretty good.
Yeah.
What we're seeing right now.
Yeah. So in the private chat here, I threw a message and made Fubu. Can you read that for our audience? Yeah.
All of it or from the start?
No, just from what I put at the end there. Cartas,
ok. Cartas que os padres e irmãos da Companhia de Jesus escreverão dos reinos de Japão e China. So basically, it's letters from the priests and brothers from the Company of Jesus will write about the kingdoms of Japan and China.
That's right. And of course, this is from the Jesuit missionaries' work. And of course, it depicts the meeting between Yasuke and Nobunaga with Villano and the Jesuits. So, yes, that is, one of our historical documents, of course, that we can refer to when it comes to Yasuke as well. So check that out if you want to. But anyway,
I'm sad that Fubu had revealed Einstein invented time travel. Now I got to mind wipe a lot of people.
Honest man, it's the chrono. You have, like, I used to think that I was not a smart child. Sorry.
I was thinking, wow, that's crazy. You know, in my time, I played Crazy Taxi, but like, I didn't think Einstein invented time traveling doesn't exist. Fubu, where did that come from?
Fubu knows too much. I order a mind wipe.
Okay, so my final.
Don't first choke me, please. Don't first choke me, Burley.
My final question, guys, on this is, do you think that the creative liberties of developers are going to be threatened in regards to creating a game of historical fiction due to like what's been going on with Assassin's Creed Shadows? What do you think?
It's going to be a case-by-case basis. Remember, Ghost of Tsushima came out. Very few people had anything negative to say. Like, I remember your stuff at the time, and you were bringing up the helmets and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Most people did not care. There were some people that took it way too seriously, and some people that cared a bit. Like, you're going to get stuff like that where people care, and there are some people that just need something to be outraged. But I think for most of the general public, as long as it's something not totally that doesn't fit, like like if in the next Assassin's Creed, it's in the time of Albert Einstein, he invents time travel, and you time travel to assassinate people.
Sorry, Burley. Expat, I think the video it's not related to the topic. Sorry. It's just okay, you can go on.
It's historical fiction there. That's a kingdom of Europe that had anime as a king.
Go ahead. Yeah.
It would be amazing.
Yeah, you have to forgive me. It's like I'm controlling all of the stuff here. I'm the producer of this show, of course, so I have to
It's okay.
do 10 things at once. I'm trying to give some historical perspectives and then having to of course manage the videos in here too. So yeah, sorry about that. But anyway.
No,
good. We understand, but like the next Assassin's Creed, if they did that whole thing of like Einstein invents time travel and you do time travel, people are going to get outraged and go with that. But if they do in the next Assassin's Creed, for whatever time period, they do one little change of, instead of this kind of flag, it's this flag for a minor thing. There'll be some people that'll be outraged, but 90% of the people, even like me, are just going to be like, okay, they changed one thing. Who cares? It's historical fiction. I'm not going to get too worked up over it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think as well it's going to restrict. I mean, Ubisoft and the producers have defended the choices made in terms of the game and the development.
Yeah.
And it's kind of sad if it does, because then what's the point of creating games if any minor outrage is just going to be blown out of proportion? It's just going to constrict the creativity. I mean, people get a dictionary. It's historical fiction. Maybe you should just go back to school. Just get a grip of it.
Yeah.
And sorry, we lost Fubu. You can carry on.
I know. We'll get him back. So it's we just can't let social media dictate everything that's done. That's the problem with social media. I think it gets blown out of proportion, and then it gets all over social media, and then these development companies might think in the future, maybe we shouldn't do that because the negative publicity is going to lose us money when it comes to sales of these games. So
you'll get some higher ups that want to play things more safe and then take a risk. You're always going to get that, and especially with how the gaming industry, with how the budgets are going, games, the bigwigs are going to be like, we don't want to take a risk. We want to go with the thing that's going to guarantee sell us 15 million copies.
Right.
Yeah, but sometimes they don't care, because there was a lot of controversy for Hogwarts Legacy, and it was still released, and it was still a success. So So sometimes social media can also be an echo chamber that just are people constantly yelling back to the wall, and they're basically having a conversation with themselves, but that doesn't really represent the majority of players, especially Twitter, because it's so small.
Yeah, we shall see. But like we said at the beginning, I mean, historical fiction in games, play the game, enjoy it. There's a lot of aspects of the game that could be historical and that you could learn something from that you never knew of before. And then you can go off and then expand upon your knowledge and actually read a history book and read the documents and learn about that particular time and era that of the game that you were playing. So
Like, let me just. I gave you the stupid story about time travel, but now I'm going to tell you the more serious one, because you already took care of the subject in Japan, but I'm going to take it a little bit. One of my PlayStation 2 favorite games was Kessen, which is basically when it's Tokugawa versus Toyotomi. I don't remember that right now, but I remember at the time. That's what made me fall in love with the Japanese culture, because I started to search more, because it was in the early days when we started having internet, so I could do some research. When it was Red Alert 1, we didn't have internet widespread like we do. But and I learned about all the characters of Japanese culture, like Tokugawa, Nomasili, Date, Hideyoshi Toyotomi, all of the
Date
Yukimura
Masamune.
Sanada.
Date Masamune.
Date, thank you very much.
Masamune.
Masamune.
That's right.
Thank you. And I fell in love with these characters and the story and with the culture of Japan. So games, and that game, let's be honest, it has the historical roots, and then there's the alternate historical route where Tokugawa loses. So it has both sides of the story.
Yeah.
But because it was based in reality, they didn't push too far away from reality. It has a very good influence of games, have this very important influence that can make people interest themselves in different cultures and in different and in different areas of the world. So that was something really positive for me, really opened my mind. So it is really important, once again, and I already said this, it's really important that when developers make games, they have the responsibility of saying what's real and what's not real, because it can influence the world and its future.
What we have to be careful with is revisionism. Revisionism can be good in the sense that, okay, well, we found a new historical document. It was never before seen, and we found it, and it might change the way we depict history, and we understand what somebody was thinking in a historical context. But then the scary thing is you have people that just want to completely change how people perceive history and think about history, because they only believe in a particular aspect of that history, and they don't want to believe in another particular aspect that might have been true. And so they want to change the narrative. They want to change the story of history. And so revisionism, unfortunately, is rampant in historical circles, not only to Japan, but to many other countries in the world. And I have a fear for the future when it comes to game development that might leak into game development when it comes to revisionism of history. So that is something that we have to watch out for and be careful of. So that's my final point. So yes.
Yep. Mic drop.
Just want to say hello to John. Thank you for joining us. And see, you have the symbol of Assassin's Creed, so maybe you can share your thoughts on the topic, and if you agree or disagree with what has been happening, and what's your favorite game, maybe.
Yeah. Thanks for joining us, John. Yeah. So great to have you with us. So yeah. But let's just get back to talking about the game. I mean, Assassin's Creed Shadows. I'm really excited for it. I'm really excited to play it. I'm really excited to see that part of the world, in that part of Japan. So and see where it goes. I'm really excited for it. So I'm excited to play as Yasuke, and I'm excited to play as Naoe in the game as well. So looking forward to that. So my final question, Assassin's Creed Shadows, you're going to play the game. Which character do you want to play more? Do you want to play more as Yasuke or as Naoe? Burley.
Naoe, actually, because I'm really curious, because seeing stuff you're doing with her, that you can actually climb and just hold up on the roof, hold up, wait for people to go under you, assassinate, and do that, and that kind of stuff. Yasuke, I will play and do it as both characters, but I'm just curious with more of the stealth stuff, because one of the things that I did like with Mirage is that they were kind of getting back to the basics and getting more to the stealth side. So I'm really curious to see with that and what they're going to do with this one.
Yeah.
I think Yasuke, because since he is like a prominent figure and someone with like importance, I guess, because he is a samurai, it's gonna be interesting to see how the stealth element integrates into like a big figure. Because one thing is being like an assassin that is hidden in the shadows, but when you're seen, how does that kind of play out?
Right. Right. And he will be seen for sure.
Yeah, he's gonna stand out.
He's gonna stand out. Yeah,
Where's
for sure.
Waldo, Assassin's Creed Shadows?
Yeah. Well, it's so interesting. If you go back and check out, I showed some of the clips of the gameplay there earlier. As you see him walking around, I love how they show the Japanese people that are walking close to him, and they're just like they're staring at him or they're backing off, and that's exactly the way Japanese people would have reacted in that time. Even with me today walking around the streets, I get that type of stuff. Like the old people or something, they're just like it's, in some parts of Japan you'll still get that with some people, but yeah.
I actually want to read John, sorry for cutting in here, John's response saying, I'm properly excited for AC Shadows. I have pre-ordered already. I see AC as a gateway inspiring people read the proper history.
Exactly.
Holy crap, we found so.
Yeah.
Can you explain this to any of the people that are complaining?
Yeah. And he says Syndicate and Valhalla are personally favorite entries. Yeah. Assassin's Creed. Yeah, Syndicate was really good. Valhalla was awesome as well. So, yeah.
Look, I'm gonna play as Yasuke for one simple reason. He's Portuguese. When do I play with Portuguese in the video game? When I play with Portuguese, when I play with the national team in EAFC, that's the only time I play with Portugal. That's the only time, because there's no Portuguese main characters in the game. So this is a Portuguese.
Yes, there are, Fubu.
Which
in
ones?
Civilization. Maria Primeira.
No.
You can play.
That's fiction. That's fiction.
Fiction? What?
Okay. Yeah, when it comes to creating time travel, that's true.
Yeah, so
that's true. That's true. I believe that.
I'm probably going to play more as Yasuke because I'm really interested to see where that character goes, and the boss battle elements to it. I want to see what they throw in, and there's going to be DLC that's going to come out, kind of like in Assassin's Creed, of course. In Odyssey, you had your battles with Medusa, and like these. Legendary type of,
on Origins, you had the dragon on the pyramid of Egypt.
So you'll probably see, in Japanese folklore, you probably have to fight against Tengu and other types of things. I'm really excited.
Son Goku, right? Son Goku, that's one.
Yeah, maybe, yeah. But we shall see. But I'm interested to play Naue as well, of course, for the stealth elements. The traditional stealth style of Assassin's Creed games and all. But yeah, and John, I just want to say, Assassin's Creed Odyssey is my favorite because it's one of the besides Origins, the open world aspects to it. I really enjoyed that a lot. But I'm a big Assassin's Creed fan. I've played since the beginning, so. I love all of them, so it's good stuff. So, all right, historical fiction and games. So, keep bringing them on. Obviously, get enamored by these games and become more interested in history. Yeah, because it's an interesting topic. So, good stuff. All right, so it's time to move on now. So it's time to talk about our picks of the week. So our new game release picks of the week for the week of, August is right around the corner, guys. So the week of July 29th through August 4th. So yeah, it's good stuff. And actually, today is my wife's birthday. So yeah.
Oh, happy birthday!
Yeah, well,
birthday
for you guys in the West, it's still Saturday, but here in Japan, it's now Sunday, the 28th. So it's my wife's birthday today. But so yeah, we'll probably go out and have something to eat later. But anyway, so our picks of the week, and actually, this week, Fubu and Burley, you guys have the same game. You guys have the same pick. So now do a rock paper scissors and figure out who's going to read the.
I can like. Aren't you going to talk about the Xbox part? And I read there's something. Are you going to talk about the Xbox?
So we're going to do that later.
Yeah, then I can read this and you'll take care of the Xbox part.
Sounds good to me.
Great. Okay.
All right. So go for it, Fubu. Yeah. What do you got?
So, Swords of Convalaria. Embark on a journey to Iria, a mineral-rich country coveted for its magical resources. These creatures have attracted the attention of dangerous external factions, leading to rising tensions and widespread riots. As the leader of a band of mercenaries, you are tasked with navigating these complex situations and finding ways to preserve the fate of Iria. Engage in authentic grid-based tactical battle where you will command unique allies against a variety of enemies. Utilize every battlefield detail whenever it's a cliff, boulder, obstacle, or even a Bangalore to secure victory. Your choice and actions will shape the evolution of your town and influence the unfolding story. Building relationships and honing skills will be essential to your success, as the storyline will adapt to reflect your decisions and achievements. Keep a watchful eye for Fate of Iria rests in your hand. Comes out in 5 days, iOS, Android, and PC. I love this type of game. It reminds me, I'm blanking on the name now, the game from the Switch. It's just
Triangle
like
Strategy.
Triangle Strategy. Thank you very much. That it reminds me a lot of that. And Triangle Strategy was such a very good game. I've always loved these types of games. Very anime inspired, as you can see. It also reminds me of the Jeanne d'Arc game that I played last week. So that's my pick. I think it's really fun. It looks really fun. And I hope it's free on iOS so I can play it for free because I don't want to spend that much money. I'm saving money to pre-order EAFC. So
there's a demo on PC. You can download this and play this on PC right now. The demo. And
I do full games. I do full games. No, but
we're gonna have to have another food. We're gonna have to make a Fubu EAFC rehab video.
Yes, we do.
I can bring a lot of people.
Yeah. All right.
Sorry.
Okay.
Okay. Sorry, I was just putting the light on again.
Burley, anything you want to add to this? Since this is also your pick of the week. Yeah.
Yeah, it does look good. You've got it gives me Triangle Strategy, Fire Emblem vibes, Final Fantasy Tactics. I love these style of games. You can easily spend so much just in the battles and the strategies of figuring out your turns. And like, I know I can't be the only one that has done this, where if you're playing on these with the old school Fire Emblems with permadeath modes and that, you're redoing your turns so many times because you got to go, I got to move here. I got to hope I get a crit strike here or get the combo off and the combo attack and it works.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. It's like one of the things, again, talking about Jeanne d'Arc and what you're saying, there's no permadeath, so there's no problem on people dying, but I don't like to have my characters die in battle. And one of the good things, because you're playing the PSP version, you can do the rewind. So every time, like sometimes I would go back like 2-3 turns so I could do everything again. Because that thing that Fire Emblem Three Houses, for example, has, which you can go back, that didn't exist when we were young. Like we had to grind hard. We had to start the battles from the beginning. There's no easy mode for like there's now. We used to go for the real deal. And since I don't have time to start everything from the beginning, I consider it a cheat. So I go back and I do all that. So yeah. But yeah, I used to go old school. Like it dies.
Okay. All right. It's time to move on. Leah, you're next. What do you have for us this week?
Thank goodness you're here. is an absurd comedy slapformer set in the bizarre northern English town of Barnesworth. As a traveling salesman, take the time to see the sights and meet the locals, who are very eager to give you a series of increasingly odd jobs. It comes out on August 1st for PlayStation 5, Switch, PC, and PlayStation 4. The best way to describe this game is if uh, the duck game, Untitled Goose Game,
Yeah.
was
Yeah.
set on an English village, and that's it. That's all you need to know about this game. And I thought the style was very humorous and very British humor. It was really funny and hilarious. And it just seems like a really
cute.
fun game.
Yeah, looks really cute. Yeah, so good stuff.
And the name is really funny as well.
The artwork, it looks very, very cute. I like the artwork.
Yeah, good stuff.
That's it.
All righty. Okay. All right. A little at the end there. All right. I'm up next. So my pick of the week is Trinity Fusion. It comes out on August 1st for the Switch. So it's already out on PC and PlayStation 5, PlayStation 4, PC, Xbox Series. So take control of your parallel selves on a mission to save the dying multiverse in this roguelite action platformer. Explore dark sci-fi worlds and engage in fast-paced, smooth, and precise combat. The various branches of the multiverse are always changing. Fight through a combination of procedurally generated levels, as well as handcrafted challenges and arenas that will put your skills to the test. So yeah, very Metroid-esque style. So yeah, I like this. So I'm looking forward to playing this.
This is heavily Metroidvania. You gotta love these style games. I've actually heard good things about this game. I've yet to play it myself.
Yeah. So I'm excited to play this, and yeah, like I said, coming to the Switch now. So yeah, you can play it alongside Metroid on the Switch. Yeah.
Nice. That looks good.
Yeah, it's good stuff. Yeah. Fuse your counter selves to combine their abilities. Yeah.
Fubu, I think you have a question in the chat.
I know. I don't want to interrupt. I want to let them talk about the game, and then I'll answer the John.
No, go ahead. I'm finished.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Sheffield Wednesday. No, I won't be playing with them because there's only one team that I play in that game, and it's Benfica, which is my team, the best team in the world. So that's the only one that I use, because I tried to use other team emblems, but I felt like I was betraying my own team, and I didn't feel nice, so I went back. I'm very loyal.
Yeah. And it's also, of course, available now on the Epic Game Store. So yeah, Trinity Fusion. So good stuff. Alrighty. So that is my pick of the week. And of course, you can find all the games that are releasing this week and into August and beyond on releases.com. You can go to www.releases.com and check out all the games that are releasing on PC and on console and on mobile as well. So good stuff. Alrighty. So those were our new game releases. So next up, so it's time to talk about Game Pass. And guys, we're finally getting a Call of Duty game on Game Pass. So Burley, take it away, man.
So yes. On July 24th, that happened. Got the Call of Duty Modern Warfare 3 on Game Pass. That was the last year's Call of Duty. So if you do want to play that, you've now got the option to play that. And soon coming, as of next month, we've got the beta for Black Ops coming soon. But as for so forgive me, I'm just going to read a couple games here. I can't remember if we had mentioned them last week, so I do apologize. We had Dungeons of Hindenburg that came out July 18th. Flintlock, The Siege of Dawn, come July 18th. And Day One, Kitsugami, Path of the Goddess, that came July 19th. So it's been a pretty good month for Game Pass, I would say, this month. We're finally starting to get something from the Activision Blizzard deal. We've gotten 2 games, Diablo 4 and Call of Duty Modern Warfare 3. There is the rumor. Well, I know we don't really go so much on rumors, but there's the rumors that early August we could be getting like stuff like Tony Hawk, Spyro, and Crash games starting to hit the service. So it'll be very interesting to see what we're getting up in August.
Yeah, speaking of Modern Warfare 3, I was thinking of downloading that the other night, but then it showed that the download was like 153 gigabytes.
Yeah.
I'm like, no, thank you.
That's too much. That's
way too much. Yeah, I mean, if it was brand new, I would probably do it, but I mean, I don't want to spend over 2-3 hours waiting for it to download and taking up all that space on my my hard disk.
Not to mention, let's be honest, you can play the campaign, which doesn't take long, a couple hours, because this is the really short one. Maybe you do a couple matches of multiplayer, but I don't see you putting much time into multiplayer on this, to be completely honest with you.
Yeah, but I don't think there's an option to just download the campaign. You have to download the entire game. It's like 153 gig. It's so but
and the game probably is historically accurate anyway, so that's not a good game to play.
Ha 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 ha.
Dear Lord Fu.
Don't worry. In one of the missions, you go back in time to find Einstein and stop him from creating time travel.
Yeah, but you know that mission is going to be a success, because if you don't manage to save Einstein, there's no time travel. So paradox, you see?
Yeah, but this is Call of Duty. Have you see the plot for Modern Warfare 3? That just enough said there. That's all.
There was another game a few years ago. It was on PC. I think it was about the war in Afghanistan. It was like Sandstorm or something like that. I forget the actual name of it.
It was like Day in Fallujah, wasn't it?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, Day in Fallujah. Yeah, You want some historical accuracy, Fubu? Check that game out.
I heard something about that game. I don't remember.
It's very controversial. So
I remember people talking about that a lot.
Oh my god! Sorry.
Everything okay? Everything okay?
Yeah, there's a cockroach in here, and I'm not having a good time right now. But carry on.
Oh,
okay. If you wanna sign out for a minute or two and kill it, yeah, it's fine.
Okay, I might do that. Hold on.
Yeah. All right.
She
has
2 dogs. Send the dogs instead of their place.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's why.
Dogs.
That's why having a cat, I have 2 cats. It's the perfect remedy for bugs and all that stuff. Yeah, they'll find them and they'll scan for them, and
they'll hunt them and take care of them.
Oh yeah,
that's what my cat does. Like the other day, she was staring at the spot. I was like, "Where is it, girl? What do you see?" And then I took something up. It was a gecko. It was a gecko, and she was paying attention. Then she threw the gecko out of on the garden. So that was good.
I was not successful. I'll try again.
Okay.
Or maybe the cockroach will come back during the night and has its revenge.
So John says in the chat, you can choose what parts you like to install. So John, I'll have to go back and check that. So so I guess when it comes to Modern Warfare 3, so I'll have to look into that. If I can just download the campaign, I'll do that and play it or something. So. All right. So it's time now to talk about our programming notes. So here on the Arena Productions, we are not only a video game related channel, we are also entertainment and pop culture related when it comes to fantasy, Star Wars, Star Trek, The Boys, all of that. So let's go ahead and look at a couple of the videos that I put up earlier this week. So first up, House of the Dragon. Yes. So we are getting towards the end of season 2 now. So my, of course, recap and review of episode 6. So good old fired up sea smoke. So please go and check out my recap. It's a spoiler recap and review, but each and every week when an episode of House of the Dragon drops, we are on top of it. And I make a recap and review episode. So please check it out. So good stuff. And what's interesting, no spoilers here, but I just want to say Sea Smoke really reminds me of Drogon from Game of Thrones. Oh. I mean, I think that they just copy and pasted Drogon into the series and changed the color of him a little bit. So.
Yeah, it's cheaper that way.
Yeah, we shall. Yeah, that was interesting, I thought. And next up, of course, on the Star Trek side, of course, Star Trek Prodigy. So my latest episode recap and review of Star Trek Prodigy. So I'm doing one episode a week of the 20 episode season 2, which dropped on the first day, of course, on Netflix. So yeah, please go and check out my recap and review of Star Trek Prodigy. So Gwyn's Temporal Adventure. So really good stuff. So you can see some of the old Voyager crew in Prodigy as well. So Janeway, Chakotay, the Doctor. So yeah, great stuff. Great stuff. So yeah, you guys got to check out Prodigy. It's really, really good. It's highly rated as well. So it's very, very good.
Yeah, I've been meaning to sit and watch it because, like, I know they put all of season 1 as well up there, so I can just get caught up and get into it.
Yeah. I haven't checked to see if Netflix has it in here, but I'll check it out. Are the episodes short, like 20, 30 minutes? Okay.
25 to 30 minutes an episode. Yeah, they're short. So yeah, it's good stuff. Yeah. Yeah, and great voice acting. Of course, Kate Mulgrew. Of course, she's Janeway. So Robert Beltran is Chakotay. Yeah, Ella Purnell from the Fallout series. She is Gwyn. So really, really good, really good voice acting in the series as well. So just want to make one more note here. We're going just after we finish live here, we're going to be recording our roundtable discussion of The Boys season 4, and that should go up here on the Arena Productions on the YouTube channel within the day or so. So please stay tuned for that. If you have seen season 4 of The Boys, you will not want to miss our roundtable discussion, our spoiler roundtable discussion of The Boys. So, yeah.
Did you guys see the Comic-Con? Like, they announced a new series in the universe of The Boys. So the Verge Uprising. And I'm really happy because it's on the 1950s. It's going to have Soldier Boy and Liberty, which is Stormfront, as the main characters. You know what that means? We're going to see the first Herogasm. That's big. We're going to...
Yeah. But of course, when it comes to the boys, we have one more season to come. But I think it was, the actor, of course, who plays Butcher. Of course, he was saying that Carl Urban. He was saying that you're going to have to wait a while. It's like probably 2026, maybe.
Mm-hmm.
That we're getting season 5, the final season. So
because I think next year, and that they're doing the good thing. They're not going the Marvel way where they cram everything and they're force feeding. They're giving 1 year apart. They're going to do the same thing with the Game of Thrones or the House of the Dragon. So basically, their next year, so 2025, it's going to be Gen V season 2. Then it's going to be The Boys, the last season. Then I don't know if it's The Boys Mexico. Then they're going to be interchanging, and they're doing the same thing with House of the Dragon. House of the Dragon ends, well, this year, like in the 2 episodes ends. It should come back in 2 years. And next year, it's going to be a new series, which is Night of the Seven Kingdoms or something like that.
Yeah. Duncan Egg?
Yes, Duncan Egg. But the name of the title, I think it's a Night of the Seven Kingdoms. But it's
I'm still kind of bummed that they canceled the Jon Snow series. I would have liked to see, them remedy the problems that came out of season 8 of Game of Thrones. So
yeah, it would have been nice to see, but I don't have as much faith in them to remedy it. So it's best to just
leave it be.
I think because the guy is still young, right? So he can do he's young. I think they're waiting for the final book to drop, to see how he ends the story, and then they will adapt the story of whatever.
Well,
and then
of course
they
no spoilers.
I mean, good luck with that.
Yeah.
I got a better chance
When
of
will
winning the
it come out?
lottery tonight than George R.R. Martin finished, because he's got to finish The Wind of Winter and A Dream of Spring. And
good luck with that.
Good luck on that.
Yeah,
he's been saying for the last 3 years that this is the year that comes out, and then it's hasn't. So
and he's got so many projects going on. I just don't think he can manage them all. And then of course he's got the Elden Ring stuff, that he's done as well. So all right,
the man is procrastinating. Let's be honest. Although Patrick Rothfuss is way worse, because he had a series and there's only the last book left, and he just dropped it and became like a Twitch streamer. He will play video games all day, but he will not finish that book. It's been 10 years at this point.
Yeah.
Sorry, expat, carry on.
No, thank you. Yes, I will. All right. So that's going to do it for our programming notes. So it's time before we end the show to talk about the games that we'll be playing this coming week. So I might try the Modern Warfare 3 if I can download the campaign. Then I'll just do that and finish up with Nier Replicant. I'm still working on that. So Burley, how about you? What are you playing this week?
Yeah, I'm going to finish up Sonic Superstars. Close to the end of that on Streamwise, and then I'm taking a couple days off from streaming, but on my personal time, just continue up with Persona 3 Reload and just a few other games that I have started that I just want to. I recently picked up No Man's Sky and been playing that on the Steam Deck. Yeah. Play the relaxed mode, and boy, is it just nice and relaxing from what little I have played of it. Just go in, do a little bit, and jump out.
Yeah, I'm just looking forward to Star Wars Outlaws. I'm waiting for that to come out. That's gonna be my August game. So
it's coming at the end of the month, and we might as well announce it. I'm gonna do the Ubisoft Plus, so I get the game a couple days early. So you guys will get that extra take pretty quick. I will try and get you
get
that.
Nice.
Yeah. Looking forward to that. Yeah, Fubu, what are you gonna be playing?
Actually, I have no idea. I'm playing at this moment Ratchet and Clank Size Matters. I actually completed the game today, and I'm gonna plat the game. Then I don't know if I go back to Summoners 2, because I finished Summoners 2 at the beginning of last week, but I didn't get the plat, and it's like an old game where you don't have New Game Plus. So if I'll have to do everything again, and I don't know if I want to put 40 hours back into that game. I really don't feel like that. So I'll see. Maybe I'll wait to see what's gonna drop on PlayStation Plus next week, before I commit to a new game. So at this moment, it's gonna be Ratchet and Clank, and then I'll see. No EAFC, don't worry. No, nothing like that.
I see. Leah, what are you gonna play?
Take an uneducated guess.
Your pick of the week.
No, Sea of Stars, because I haven't finished yet.
I see.
I'm close. I'm like 10 hours in or something like that. I reached the grave, but what's the code for your grave, Burley? Because there's too many of those.
Okay, after the show, I'll send you a DM on Discord with my grave.
Please do, because I'll visit your grave. I'll take a picture and I'll send it to you guys.
Put some flowers. Respect the man.
Yes.
He kickstarted the game, so
yeah. Nice. Pay my respects. F in the chat. All of that.
All right. So I want to thank everybody for coming on in. I want to thank Purple Dragon. Thank you so much for coming in. John, thank you so much for coming in as well. And all of you that are watching in video on demand later on, thank you so much for your support and coming and watching our content over here on the Arena Productions. So the Arena Gaming News Podcast is recorded live on Saturdays, 2 p.m. Pacific Daylight Time, 5 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time, and 10 p.m. British Standard Time. So you can come and check us out. And you can follow us over on Twitter. Now it's called X, of course. You can follow us there at What Be On Tap. So TAP standing for the Arena Productions. So you can go and check us out and follow us there as well. And we also have an audio portion of the podcast, so you can check us out over on Podbean, so as well as on free podcast services. So I will give the link here for Podbean, which is, of course, a free app that you can download, and you can listen to us on the go. So thearenaproductions.podbean.com. So please check us out on audio as well. So you can check us out there. And we also have a Patreon, patreon.com/thearenaproductions. So we have ad-free content over there, as well as early access and exclusive content over on our Patreon. So please support us over on Patreon as well. Check us out over there. Yeah. So patreon.com/thearenaproductions. So you can check us out there as well. All right. So it's time to end our show with our indie recording artist spotlight. So each and every week, we end our show with a video outro with music. And so we always try to support indie recording music artists here on the show as well. So this week's spotlight is on Del Nova. So with almost 20 years of expertise in the music and video industry, Marcelo Del Monaco and Vicencio Bellanova, the duo behind Del Nova, have gained the expertise of fitting sound to image, creating soundtracks and videos to the next level. So composer, music supervisor Marcelo has a long history working as a composer and music supervisor in the Italian television industry, delivering original music and sound branding. Vicenzo is a great pianist, composer, and a very skilled sound designer. So from their album titled Power of Tall, and the song is called Counter-Strike. So this has been The Arena, a multi-platform gaming news podcast, episode 180. I've been your host, Expat, along with my co-hosts, Burlyman Gaming, Turn-Based Carl. He will be back with us next week, Fubu87, and Leah the Hatless. So thank you so much for watching, and we hope to catch you in the next one. And please enjoy the outro. And we hope to catch you next week. So have a great week of gaming, everyone, and take care. Peace out.